Alright, now we talk about how to deal with narcissistic personalities when you have STPD. And I'm going from my life experience as the source of knowledge or information. Yeah. So basically, in my life experience, I've met a lot of narcissistic personalities, and I've noticed that we should stay well clear of narcissistic personalities. There's probably a number of other personalities that we should stay clear of in terms of treating yourself. My method of treatment is not really to attack, it's more defense is the best form of attack. Prevention is better than the cure. So Christianity fits in well with me in terms of the best approach to treating my disorder, personality disorder. I mean, to call it a personality disorder is very subjective because that means it implies that you have an ideal personality. And who decides what the ideal personality is? I suggest that you do a statistical analysis, like a census, yeah, every 20 years, every generation, to see what the statistically based ideal personality is before, because we don't know what you base it on. We don't anyway. But back to narcissistic personalities. What I noticed, the reason why we clash with narcissistic personalities is because what we are as STPD, we are people who have the symptoms of schizophrenia but without actually being schizophrenic. Yeah, so we have the ability to question our beliefs. Yeah, that's the difference. So I'm constantly questioning my beliefs, and obviously it's like to avoid mania, yeah, you need to be able to dissect your beliefs. It's like coming across a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, all the pieces are there, you just filled with so much information, you don't know what direction to start. So just breaking everything up into bite-size tasks, it helps you. You've got your entire life ahead of you. You've got your entire life to do this, so you don't feel like you have to do it immediately. You have to dissect your existence, your experience, yeah, of others, yeah, in terms of figuring out what personality types make your condition more advanced. Yeah, so I found in my experience that narcissistic types, they bring out the more suspicions in me. Like, they bring out the suspicions in me because what you suspect them of being, they are. Yeah, they're narcissistic, and this is a personality type that you know exists. Yeah, so when you have a narcissist, what they tend to do is if you have a narcissist that's intelligent, yeah, he won't need to disturb you so much. Yeah, but if you have a narcissist that is dumber than you or weaker than you, yeah, that wants all the spotlight but just can't get it because you're the better person, yeah, then you obviously have to be suspicious of that one. Just being pragmatic, you really need to be suspicious because they are manipulative, and they tend to be vindictive, and also they want to hog the light. And when you're treating yourself, you need to consider your self-esteem as an approach. But being around a narcissist, you can turn what you're doing for your self-esteem into something that's narcissistic, because narcissism in its smallest doses is self-esteem. People who tell you when you're depressed that you must always look in the mirror and think that I'm the best thing in the world. You wake up with a positive smile, you look and dress nice so that you feel and look good. Yeah, so this is just for your self-esteem, but too much of that becomes narcissism. Yeah, so being around narcissism or narcissistic personalities will pull you along that direction. Yeah, so you try to avoid them, because I found most of the narcissists I've met have been cleverer than, so they become very desperate. Yeah, a narcissist that is dumber than you will be easy to deal with if they just accepted what they play. Yeah, but a narcissist that wants to know that is better than you, yeah, that's a narcissist, and it's not. That's a narcissist that's very, very hard to deal with. So I found that I once had a narcissist that really wanted to know that he was better than me. Yeah, and take this as a delusion if you like, but I could sense him, because I'm empathetic that way, that he wanted to see in my mind, to see me accepting defeat in my mind. First of all, I can never do that for self-esteem reasons, and secondly, he hadn't, so I was pretending to let him win, and he wasn't satisfied with that as a feeling I was getting in my mind. Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, now there's nothing more I can do, because I can't lose to you, because you're just dumber than me. Yeah, it's just when I try to lose to you, you still mess yourself up, and it's impossible to lose to you. You meet those kind of narcissists. They're the dangerous types, where they expect you to understand that they're better than you, but you can't. They're just so beneath you, but you can't. So they'll resort to fooling around with you. With gaslighting is a term that's starting to use in the medical sector. So gaslighting is something that we don't obviously react good to, because when somebody starts to act like you did this when you know you didn't, yeah, that kind of makes you delusional. You start to think, well, me thinking that I didn't do it, is that the delusion? So you start to question yourself, and that's not good to question yourself. Yeah, so narcissists will start to play around with tricks like that to try and get you to think that you're delusional. And if they do find out that you have your personality disorder, this is why it's a giant leap to let people know publicly that you have this disorder, because once a narcissist finds out what your disorder is, and they do some background research, so you have to be prepared. They'll research your disorder, and they'll start using gaslighting to play on it. So this is something that obviously those who are in my delusion, those who are, this is why the delusion can be something that you can use to help you cope with life. If you use it properly, you have to know what an adult needs to do with their life. You need to feed yourself, clothe yourself, and look after yourself. Yeah. So now you see the delusion you have, and you say, how can I use this to help me achieve my objectives in life? Yeah. So my delusion, the one I developed, I became pragmatic. Like I said, STPD, we're the ones who have the symptoms, but we know how to question our delusions. So I looked at things in a pragmatic way. So I said to myself, okay, if they are seeing into my mind, like my delusion tells me, yeah, then what am I to expect? I imagine myself like a 5-star general. Yeah. So I say, what am I to expect? Yeah. Well, you expect that anyone who can see into your mind that has any kind of rivalry with you will be able to capitalize on that, because it's like if you're an army general and you have a war room, and you're in that war room, you'd rather that your opponents do not have access to what is being what's taking place in that war room. You rather keep certain things secret from your opponents and any rival, even in any walks of life. Yeah, you'd rather keep some things secret from other human beings, because obviously this is how we compete. The things you know that they don't know, that's your competitive edge. So my delusion also allowed me to say, okay, so there goes your competitive edge. So you won't have a competitive edge. As soon as you come up with an idea, they're going to just assume that they're going to steal it. So I started to say, okay, if my delusion is true, then I should prepare for what that means for me. Yeah, I don't expect to come up with an idea and capitalize on it unless I do it quick. Yeah, when I strategize to beat someone, they'll already have seen what I'm intending to do with them. When I strategize in terms of competition, if I plan a path in my career, and I decide to put pen to paper and put a plan down and keep it secret, it will still be seen from someone seeing through my mind. So there's no point planning to an extent. I'll come into planning in my future talks. Yeah. So I decided to be pragmatic and just say, okay, these are the things that you're gonna have a disadvantage with. Yeah. If you if your delusion is right that they're seeing this. So I never expected anything from the world. I expect the worst, so that when it doesn't happen, I've always got a smile on my face. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh well, at least today wasn't so bad. Yeah. So so when you come across narcissism, I put them through my delusion and I say, well, if they're narcissistic, yeah, they're gonna want to know that you beat them. And if you don't realize that in your mind, yeah, and for your own self-esteem, you shouldn't have any business with realizing that you're less than anyone in your mind, or that you have lost in your mind. You shouldn't have any concept of having lost in your mind. Even if you lose a game, you should always try and pick the positives out of it. Try and concentrate on what you learned from an experience, from a loss. Yeah, concentrate on what you learned from a loss, so that you never feel that you lost. Because now, when you feel lost, then when you feel that you lost in a competition, in anything, any kind of loss, yeah, you lower your serotonin, yeah, and that would start shifting your delusion into some darker areas, yeah, and more depressive areas. So you want your delusions to be happy, not too happy, where it become manic. You want it kind of where you want it. Yeah, so I find that narcissists will be trying to get you out of your comfort zone, in terms of your psychological comfort zone, yeah, as a way of competing with you. Yeah, if they know they can't beat you, they'll exploit the fact that you have a mental illness all the time, and you must expect it. And you're right to be suspicious about people doing that, because narcissists will do that. So you try and keep away from them, but be brave and just admit to what you have, yeah, what you are, yeah, and just basically know that they're gonna do that and have a strategy for fighting that. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So narcissists, we definitely stay away from them. Yeah. And if you can't stay away from them, then the less contact with them you have, the better. And never ever let your guard down in terms of emotionally. Never ever trust anyone in this world to an extent. You can trust people 80-90% trust, but you make room for your delusions, because even statistically, 80% of the people, 80% of the victims of crime have the perpetrator being someone that they knew. Yeah, so you're right to be suspicious in that way. This is not helping your treatment. Yes, it is. Yeah, as somebody who's gone through it, being pragmatic and knowing that you should be suspicious is just you got to man up, yeah, and stand up and say, okay, this is how the world is. Yeah. So let me deal with it, even with my problems, even with my disadvantages. Let me get up and deal with it. Yeah? It helps to have Christ, to have that need to be neutral. Yeah? They call it being peaceful. I call it being neutral. Try and be as neutral as you can. Try and not react until you've thought about things. Yeah? So narcissists will always be trying to bait you into saying something you didn't want to say, in order to impress someone or to offend someone. So you try to avoid people when you feel like you're not in control. And when you're in control, that's the only time. You should only be around people when you choose to be, not when it's just happened like that. All right? Narcissists, definitely stay away from them. It doesn't react well with your STPD, in my experience. All right.